Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we are here to discuss the best story of all fucking time. One Piece! Chapter 1179. I hope all of you are having a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. Now, I cannot stress enough how fucking amazing this chapter is. This chapter is crazy. Holy shit doesn't justify it. One Piece has found its way into the crevices of pop culture in ways that I don't think people truly understand. The nature of Agenda Piece has changed how we have digested anime and all kinds of fighting action media moving forward, and will for the rest of time. Agenda Piece has changed fandoms forever. All right, the simple structure of backstories is going to be a focal part of many upon many of mangas moving forward, due to Oda. Oda's structure and what he has given us over the 30 years of this story. It is literally birthed and has outlived. It is birthed and outlived manga and anime that has been inspired by it. This piece of fiction is one of the best fucking things maybe on this planet, and I'm so grateful for Ichiro Oda, this community, everybody that involves this community, all the way from Morge all the way down to the commenters and the fringe Russian chat. So bro, there are so many people that make up this fucking Nakama, this world global fucking Straw Hat crew, and it's really cool. It's really fucking cool. This is such an amazing chapter, and I'm giving all this praise to One Piece because I don't know if we're in the end times. I don't know if we're in the end game. I really do think we got a good 3 or 4 years left before we really put the stamp on this shit. But when we get there, that is going to be that's going to be the crescendo. That's going to be the crescendo right there. So there's no better time than the present, right? We are going to be getting into chapter 1179, titled Neroma, titled Nerona Imu Descends. All right, we see Yamato and Ace. They're playing with a bunch of war pigs. This is just a cover request. Again, I don't really know if anyone's asking for these cover requests. Listen, if you were to ask me, I think that Ichiro Oda is actually pulling the wool over our eyes. I actually do think that he's just creating these to create these. Who's requesting this? Who requested this? What year? Is he getting mail from 2016? Who's requesting these kind of things? I don't know. Again, we're gonna talk about the cover story really quickly. The pigs are kind of scurrying around, and then there's this one big boar that's kind of lurking in the back. I think this subtly kind of alludes to the not only the Holy Knights but the Gorosei and the power structure of the world government. They're always going to be admirals and vice admirals, but Imu is that big mama boar in the back, right? And I just think that that's something to think about when you understand the power levels and the challenges that the Straw Hats have had to face, right? Even something that we're going to be getting into, the act of regeneration and being able to reconnect your limbs. That's something the Straw Hats have never really faced before, and they're kind of dealing with that at such a casual manner. It's almost like we really haven't seen the full measure of these world government's dogs, of these world government wart dogs, if you would. And I know wart dogs is a stretch, but work with me, chat. Okay, that's everything I had for this chapter, though. Again, I think it's just really cool foreshadowing for everything that we are going to get with Imu, her being the big bad. Also, I'm still holding out on Imu being a her. She might be they might be non-binary. It might be a twins thing. I do kind of have a fringe theory that Imu might be one half of Imu's twin. There were twins in the ancient kingdom, and then she died, but the devil fruit power was connected to the twins. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot there, because I think her even wanting Vivi, or reflecting so vividly on Vivi, and then that connecting back to the history of Alabasta. There's so much with Nerona, and honestly, if I get the chance, I'll probably try to react to a Tekken video, because honestly, it's gonna be a weird kind of way to react to it, but there's a lot of thoughts going around Imu right now, and honestly, I'm gonna get to all of them however I can, right? We open this chapter with again, Marizois in chaos. Marizois is an absolute chaos. Everyone's starving. I think they're still under attack. Garling busts in and says, hey, Shamrock being here is helping, but I mean, shit's crazy out there, and we got to figure something out. Everyone's starving, right? Like things are a mess, right? If you're confused on where we left off, right? Imu has retreated to the Holy Land after Loki put her in a massive block of ice, and before that, Usopp rage baited her and said, "You're a coward, you won't pull up, you're not really like that in real life, you pussy." And then Imu practically said, "Who pussy?" Then she pulled up, they, the non-binary pulled up. Honestly, Emu non-binary agenda, sure, let's fucking go. Emu non-binary agenda, I'm with it. So after they, return to, Marijois, and Garland gives this little spiel about how awful everything is. Surprise, surprise, the Celestial Dragons are getting what the fuck they deserve. I call that karmic justice. York, the Vega extension, calls on a Denden Mushi and says, "Hey, I'm fucking starving. What's going on over there?" And basically, Garland tells her, I know what everyone else has been going through. Like, "Hey, we don't know what to tell you. Shit's fucked up out here. But you know what you could do? You could possibly fix this with the Mother Flame." Now, York says that this wasn't a part of the deal. I find that hard to believe, that the Gorosei of the world government made any kind of deal or any kind of concessions with York, or the kind of proxies to Vegapunk, etc., and that didn't include the Mother Flame, or just like unrelenting power and energy. I find that a little hard to believe, because even in what they went to Egg Island for, right? And it says it pretty vividly. It says, hey, that wasn't a part of the deal. I find that pretty hard to believe, but basically Garling says that, hey, since you are an extension of Vegapunk, just consider this your penance, which I think is honestly pretty fair, all things considered. I actually think that that's pretty reasonable. York even being alive on world government watch is like, wow. Wow. The second she flips and she just decides, I want to pull another Vegapunk part 2 with the fucking Joy Boy, with the full Joy Boy history. Oh my god. Nigga says, "Oh yeah, no, I see in the Harley text. How about if I show everybody in the world the Harley text through this massive Denden Mushi, since you niggas want to keep playing with me?" Listen, don't be surprised if York pulls a massive Vegapunk stunt from getting pushed around too much. I just kind of see it in the cards. Call me crazy. Basically, Imu says, "Hey, I appreciate you guys trying to talk me out of it, because the Gorosei are adamantly against it. They're talking to Imu like they're like a sick patient, quite literally like you would tell somebody with a flu, like, hey, you should sit down, you should stay, you should drink some soup, you really shouldn't be participating in the outside world. They're treating Imu like they're this sick kind of patient, right? And I have this really weird idea. I think that Conqueror's Haki, right? I think that Conqueror's Haki is making everybody sick, and I think when you use so much of it to a certain extent, I think it becomes a toxin. And it's weird, right? Because I don't have anything exactly concrete. But even in that mural, even in the Harley text, right? We've seen that the people of the first world, they possessed energy that at that time the king of the world used to either power the Mother Flame, or most likely the Mother Flame, or maybe even the One Piece, right? We don't know exactly what that energy was used for, but I genuinely think that anybody back then could have possessed Conqueror's Haki. It could have just been a latent ability amongst all the villages, amongst all the people in the land, right? And Imu once they lost, so when they lost by such a skin of their teeth situation with the Joy Boy, they decided to put something into effect using their devil fruit, right? And that made Haki like this poison. It was this toxin. So when everybody's letting off Conqueror's Haki, farming the fields, or going to war or whatever over the centuries and centuries, people naturally just die out, and that's why it's such a rare trait. It's kind of like a recessive and a genetic gene trait. It's quite literally quite literally on the exact same stature of like a Genghis Khan, right? Somebody who somebody who basically manipulates the gene pool to what they see fit. And I know this is like a really crackpot long-winded theory, but Emu being sick here, even though, you know, they are immortal and they have obviously made some kind of covenant with either like a higher power or a lower power or something, right? So something is going on with the immortality of Emu, devil fruit aside. Don't even like talking about the gods and like the absolute like constructive lore of this universe, right? Like everything that goes into like, you know, the heaven and earth, etc., etc. I'm getting into the weeds here. Emu's abilities, right? Not only do they need to be explained perfectly, but they have to they have to mix with why they haven't been outside, and the Gorosei offer a perfect reason. I think that there's some sickness. I think that the sickness has been preventing Emu to act on their own behalf, right? So with this, you know, after, you know, they acknowledge that York is in a death row contract, she is not allowed to leave.
So tight, the nigga swung his body.
You know, they basically say that, hey, we're in a death row contract, and if Emu wants to leave, she can just leave, or they can just leave. It is what it is. I like that the Gorosei are split on this. You know, half of them are kind of concerned, the other half are saying like, hey, my nigga, it is what it is. We really can't do that much about it. But I really expected a little bit more apathy from the Gorosei. I guess in my mind, you know, like there would like be kind of like a, you know, a power, like a succession of power. Like, hey, if Emu falls due to Luffy boxing her the fuck out, then, you know, Saturn's right there, and obviously Saturn got packed up. But in this hypothetical, it would just be a kind of a next level of hierarchy. But some of the Gorosei seem like genuinely concerned about Emu, and I think this is Oda kind of just again reminding himself that he is writing like a technical kids comic, a young children's comic. You know, he's not writing Chainsaw Man, so he can't exactly get as, you know, real as he would want to get, right? But I do think in reality, with the world of One Piece being what it is, I don't think that like Gandhi, I don't think that, you know, Jupiter, I don't really believe that they would have any kind of concern. You know, some of them, again, they are very apathetic, like, hey, my nigga, if he wants to do this, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But some of them take like actual concern to it, and maybe that ties into the power, right? Because who's to say if Emu falls, then all the then like, because who's to say if Emu doesn't fall, then all the Gorosei and Holy Knights don't fall. All right, you know, I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna put a pin in this one theory. There is going to be a significant hit, a significant amount of damage that Emu is going to take on Elbaf, and the Gorosei and the Holy Knights are going to be like, we need to stop this now before we fucking die. I promise you. I promise you that is going to happen. I think it's way too interconnected for somebody just to be sick, or just to be like, you know, like a fantasy tale kind of curse. I don't, there's something really deep going on here, and hopefully I hit it on the head. But, you know, if I get it wrong, totally fine as well. And interestingly enough, this next page, these next couple of segments, you know, they do kind of verify those claims and those theories. The Gorosei say, hey, what if we go? What if the Admiral goes? What if we, the Admirals, and Panda Man goes? Panda Man is like an S tier level fucking villain. Like, you know, that's somebody who could easily wipe out an entire verse right there. But Emu says, no. You know, if you guys, you won't want to do anything, sit here and protect the Holy Land, because it will be without Mu. This has been a problem that has been brewing for all too long. And, you know, it's crazy because they say thou must cast aside negligence, thou must cast aside pride and arrogance. And it's so funny to think that this nigga only had these moments of reflection after Usopp. After Usopp. We have to take this shit into consideration. The only reason Emu is going through this level of, you know, self-reflection is because my fucking goat told that nigga, put on his boots and pull the fuck up. Told that nigga, get your gun and come to the club, pussy. He said, I'm outside. You know what that nigga Usopp said? Usopp said, I'm outside. I'm out, two toes. They said, I'm outside, 2 feet, 10 toes on the ground. Fuck is you at, pussy? Fuck is you at? And that nigga Emu took that shit to the heart. That nigga Emu really took that shit to the chest. Like, damn, I ain't hop off this porch in 800 years. I'm really not like that. Let me show these young bulls I'm really like that. I think it's so funny that the first thing Emu does when he gets back to the castle is think, man, I really haven't left this bitch in 800 years. Because all he does is reflect on all the memories he has. He sees rocks. He reflects on the birth of Shirahoshi, right, with Poseidon, right? He you know, he reflects back on Shanks. He reflects back on Marineford with Luffy and Whitebeard sacrificing himself for a boy named Monkey D. Luffy. right? Like, that's fucking crazy. And it goes through, you know, Loki kind of, you know, being recognized by, you know, the whispers in the world government of the fog ship, like Nefertari D. Lily, Blackbeard. There's so many moments that we see, and it just enhances, you know, the agenda that this nigga Imu, like, he literally barricaded himself inside the house for 800 years. He barricaded himself in that house, and it enriches the theory that him leaving Pangea Castle is detriment to their health, right? It's detriment to their health because Blackbeard taking spot, right? Like, because Blackbeard taking prominence, Monkey D. Luffy taking prominence, Roger telling people to look for the One Piece, Rocks breaking into his flower room. These are all incidents that did not cause him to act. But you know what caused that nigga to act? The nigga with the long nose from Syrup Hood Village with fucking daddy issues told that nigga hop off the porch, and he finally did it. I'm so proud of Usopp. So proud of Usopp. Listen, you can call that Usopp upscale, you can call it Imu downscale, you can call it dual upscale. I don't give a fuck. All I want to say is that we got a face reveal due to one of the best side characters in the fucking story, in Usopp. In Usopp, easily one of the best storylines in the entire story. Cowardice turned to bravery through the lens of helping others and being a good friend and being a better captain, a quote unquote captain, but not even like to him, being a captain is just being a good friend. And I think that's why he keeps calling himself Captain Usopp, because he is Captain Usopp. Because if any of his friends were in dire danger on the brink of death, Usopp would fly from heaven and earth to save them. And hey, call it what you want. And that's why I go back into this theory that everyone possessed Conqueror's Haki back then. Because when you think of some of the shit Imu has done, because when you think of some of the shit that Usopp has done, whether that be in the movies or some of the canonical stuff in the show, that's a conqueror. That is a nigga who has literally said, you know what, I show no fear. I show no fear. In the face of death, I will show no fear. You know, and obviously there are times for the gag, obviously, and obviously for the gags, Usopp has ran away, you know, done the crying face, etc., etc. But there has been times where Usopp has just showed unwavering bravery. Like right now, standing down the end villain and telling him to fucking do something about it. And you know what? I'm not gonna shit on the rest of this chapter, but the rest of this chapter, aside from Imu pulling up, is literally just these niggas putting the Holy Knights in fucking Alcatraz. Literally just torturing the fucking Holy Knights.
Put him in a cold cell? Do you beat him? Do you put cockroaches on him?
Do you put hummus up his ass?
It's kind of funny. Honestly, it's actually kind of funny. They say that they literally got this nigga Sombers and fucking like it. They literally got this nigga Sombers and fucking like Alcatraz. It's crazy. They're literally connecting his body and pulling it apart like a magnet, right? I really like the idea that they're testing out his abilities. And in the process of testing out their abilities, they find his metal heart. Zoro says, hey, I wonder what happened if I cut this. Would he die? Summers reacts the way that somebody would probably die if you cut their heart. Him having a metal heart is very, very interesting. And there's so many theories. So a lot of people think that Luffy and Loki can't be Dami-reversied because the will in their devil fruit is that of a Zoan, and it kind of possesses their own will. Again, kind of tying back into my theory of Zoans kind of just having a tighter connection to Imu and Joy Boy than all the other devil fruits, right? Even like Loki is, right? It's just a tighter connection due to like the importance of what the fruits are, like Buddha, Nika, Loki, like etc., right? With, you know, the just glaring fact that Imu can Dami reverse normal people, right? It seems that to Dami reverse the Holy Knights and honestly not have them go kapooey, right? Like not have them give out like Rocks did. You have to give them some kind of buffer. And I think this is what the buffer is. The buffer is, you know, massive amounts of Conqueror's Haki would like, you know, maybe stop the heart rate, do whatever it does, and that immediately cuts off the Dami reversing, right? But if you have a metal heart, that stops all of that, right? Now your body is just going to be continuously pumping shit no matter what. We've seen Summers get his head split open. And it's funny, it's very funny, because to defeat a Dami-reversing individual, you have to decapitate them. And Luffy decapitated Summers, and nothing happened. And of course, Summers wasn't Dami-reversing, but in just the power scale of things, you have to think that there's some kind of relation there. and there wasn't, right? I guess what everything boils down to solely is, what can the Holy Knights withstand? And this metal heart and all the other Holy Knights possibly having these metal hearts, I think it means a lot more than we know right now. It means a lot more than we know right now, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of questions, though. So many fucking questions. Sanji and Jinbei got this nigga Killingham tied up like fucking steak drying in the salt. Like, it's like literally like salt, like nigga Killingham hanging like he's in a smoker. It's actually so funny. So fucking funny. And Killingham, obviously he's not very happy. Sommers says, oh, you're Gerd, I'm gonna kill you. Killing says, oh, your name's Sanji, I'm gonna kill you. They're not very happy. Two very cranky, you know, pretty cranky Holy Knights. I would also be pretty cranky if I got put in a fucking torturing cell against my will. That is what happened, is what it is, huh? Fucking torture agenda for the Straw Hats, you know, up 4 points. We see Luffy and Loki, they made it to the library, it seems. Everything's frozen solid, but you know, Loki is insisting that Luffy eats. Luffy is saying that, yo, we should give this to Usopp and Brook, you know, because the food can like really replenish them. But the thing that kind of confuses me is they're eating rocks. They're literally eating rocks. Loki says that the food is as tough as rocks and it doesn't have any taste. It's a tasteless rock. I just don't know how this is gonna give Luffy energy, and I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I would imagine like the thing is like, oh, it has to de-thaw. But like, nigga, aren't you like the god of like lightning? Like, don't you like? Have we seen him use lightning strikes? Maybe a little bit inappropriate, right? But I feel like you could make like at least like a small lightning strike, right? Like something. I don't know. Am I being like impractical here to think that he wants like Luffy to charge up off of frozen, tasteless food? Frozen, tasteless. It's frozen solid. How do any of you eat frozen solid food? I don't know. I don't know if I'm losing my fucking mind over here. But you know, Loki says, you know, like, again, Luffy should eat. It's very important. Loki is very right in saying that. No argument there. We see that Gonko is still frozen in the ice. Luffy's like, we see that Gonko is still frozen in the ice. Luffy asks like, hey, you know, she's still frozen in there. What's going on with that? What's going on there? Whatever happened there, right? Loki says that, you know, she can only be de-thawed by, you know, Radiscure over here, right? So there's nothing to really worry about. I'll be honest here. I think Gunko is the last of my worries. Gunko is the last of my worries. I guess they must have not seen Imu just fucking slither out of her body, or no, they must have seen Imu. It's interesting because there was more to Imu than just Gunko. And they don't notice that that's missing from the ice. I guess Luffy's kind of on the brink of kayfabe death. Kayfabe. Yeah, he's on the brink of fucking fake death, I guess. So whatever. I guess it all kind of makes sense when you need it to. I'm not gonna hold you. The second Emu decided that she was gonna pull up, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting. There's no other real way to explain it, so I'm just gonna show it to you. the Conqueror's Haki, I think knocking out everybody wasn't what really surprised me. I think what really surprised me was the massive fucking pentagon. I think that's what really shook me up, because are we to now believe that the abyssal circles can now just be opened anywhere from any point in time? And I tried to like really nail it down. Those weren't 5 different locations. Like, we didn't see Sommer's mouth opening up, or, you know, we didn't see like another abyssal circle anywhere else. There's only really one abyssal circle in all of Elbaf, we know, because only one was created, and that was by Herald. So where the fuck are these other locations from? It's almost like Emu can just do this shit from anywhere at any point on Earth, as long as there is a single abyssal circle. Which makes me think, is this like a portion of her, like, and maybe I'm like juicing it, but is it possible that Emu is stronger if she is around more abyssal circles, opposed to them just being around one abyssal circle? Fuck me. Wow, and I mean, you guys already seen this, so there's nothing else to explain, but like that massive stock of lightning also, it's insane, because it's almost on comparison to what Joy Boy pulled off at Elbaf with the massive, at Egghead with the massive rope, right? Excuse me, right? Excuse me, at Egghead with the rope. I don't know. I don't know if this is ancient power, because even in this being like an ancient power, right? It goes back into like my curse theory, because, you know, all this massive amounts of Haki are being let off from Quest Castle the second Emu arrives, and then they start sprouting wings immediately after coughing up blood. So, you know, even through their transformation, they are in pain. So whatever, you know, well, we're gonna get to the devil fruit ability, but even in them going into like this hybrid Zoan, you know, absolute ultra form, whatever the fuck is going on, right? They are still in this massive amount of pain at the behest of them. Like, they're still in this massive amount of pain as a result of them leaving the castle, right? And it's almost like innate, because if the Haki was a curse, I could imagine Emu would just turn off the Haki. It's almost like they know Loki, Luffy, and whatever else could be lurking on this island, or lurking within, you know, the favor of Luffy and Nika, right? Because think about this is an 800-year-old battle that's been brewing. So realistically, there's going to be some kind of, you know, Hail Mary from the universe. Emu has to be expecting, at least I believe they'll probably be expecting it, right? So they're probably going in there, you know, with all guns blazing, put all the Conqueror's Haki on, right? Put on all the bells, put on the whistles. Hey, I don't care if it takes away a portion of my life force. I need this job to get done ASAP. Maurice wasn't fucking, it's in shambles, right? A lot of people are commenting on Emu's looks. Emu looks fine. Emu looks really good. I'm not the biggest fan, only because I'm not really sure where their legs are. I think there's a cloak. I think there's really cool. There's a cloak. There's a lot of things to break down about this. For sure. They have dark skin and these Skypea like markings. There's no other way to break it down. They might be something else, but they really are giving off this very uneasy to uninterpret. They are giving this very difficult to interpret vibe to them. There's an eye on, you know, the right hand of Emu, and again, there's an entire thing going on. Like, they have a pole arm, and, you know, the design is really cool. Actually, it's very enticing. The only confusing part is understanding exactly what and exactly where I'm looking. Like, am I looking at feet? Are they at the top of this building? Are there supposed to be boots? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. I want there to be an explanation on the skin color. Also, I think making your most evil person a dark-skinned woman, they, non-binary. It's not. Hey, fuck's going on with that, Odin? Hey, fuck's going on with that, Odin? I assume that they would just be white, like all the other ancient families kind of are. All right, but whatever. I guess Oda's getting inspired by the One Piece live action. I guess he's getting a little inspired. The carvings on their chest, also it matches the carvings on their hands. A lot of questions, guys. Lot of questions. I don't know, you know, the exact color. You know, they look white because it is a black and white matte panel, but we have no fucking idea what these markers are going to look like in the anime, the kind of vibe, the kind of atmosphere that is going to be created when this Haki arrives to Elbaf. You know, even like people like Shamrock, like listen, Elbath, the anime is going to be maybe top 5 arc, maybe top 3, maybe top 3 arc, because that backstory is, as one JD Legend put it, as JD Legend put it, all right, Oda's backstories are literally his jump shot. Can't miss. That's a fadeaway jumper. Can't fuck it up. Yeah, but listen, this chapter, it left me in awe. It genuinely left me in awe. There is a break next week, so you know we're gonna have to kind of just theory craft and figure this shit out. But you know, even in the regeneration, I really do believe that if a lot of damage is taken to this emu, the Holy Knights are either going to be rendered incompat, like the Holy Knights are going to be rendered useless, or you know, like the one of the Gorosei might fucking disappear. Like, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen, but honestly, I don't even know if the Straw Hats might win. I don't know if they're gonna lose. Something definitely big is on the horizon. Something huge is on the horizon, and I'm fucking hyped for it. You know, you ask anybody, you know, in my fucking immediate circle, I've been waiting for Elbath to pop off for a minute now, so I'm hyped. This is a very good chapter. Also, let's give a round of applause to Emu pulling up and showing us that she's really about it. Are they? I really want to get an understanding of what the fuck is going on. This is Gender Theory 101, isn't it? Literally Gender Theory 101 with Oda. But I want to understand everything about this Emu character, because I have so many questions, and I just want to break down everything that makes up this character, because we've been getting so many hints and teases with the lore and the back pieces. It's so great. I really want to just crack this shit open as soon as I can. But that was everything we officially got for chapter 1179. I really hope that all of you have a great one, however you catch this, whenever you catch this. All right, that was everything your boy Cappy had for you officially. 10 out of 10 chapter. This was a really big reveal, really big reveal, and even like to them having wings, right? Like does that relate to the Skypeans, like the Lunarians? Maybe like the Lunarians is actually a pretty reasonable theory. So many things at play here. Oh my gosh. But we are going to be talking about it maybe next week, huh? Maybe I'll do a little live session with you, huh? Who knows? Maybe if I get to 50 subs. Hey, I should get to 50 subs by sometime next week. Fingers crossed. So that was everything. I hope all of you you know, stick around for the next couple installments. I do have a lot of other videos going up for the week. So as I always say, all right, you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.